don't forget. Okay, so hands up if you are guilty of lacing up your trainers, heading out the door and getting straight into your run. But seriously, if you are looking to get fitter and faster, then incorporating these moves into your warm-up before you go and run is one surefire way of doing that. And us runners are pretty bad at making sure we warm up. Just like you wouldn't rev up your car engine and drive straight off on a cold day, your body won't thank you for not properly preparing it to go out and run. So by adding in these moves, you're going to properly prepare your body and give yourself the best chance of getting faster and staying injury-free.
Give yourself a head start before your next run or race by following these moves which you need to do before every run. They can be done anywhere and they can be done quickly, and each one is designed to give you a benefit that will help you to start stronger and go longer no matter the distance. If you're new to the running channel, please do subscribe so that you can help us keep making free videos all about running, and tap the bell icon to be notified when we upload those videos, which we do every week.
Now, before we get stuck in on some follow-along activations for you to try, have a go at these release techniques using a foam roller and a tennis or lacrosse ball.
A little discomfort is only natural, but if it's really painful, then you're either doing it wrong or you're using a roller that's too firm for you. Being slow and mindful is the best way to do it, so you can really focus on the areas that need attention.
Try foam rolling up to 60 seconds on the quads, hamstrings, calves and back before stretching. Roll slowly, and when you find a tender spot or trigger point, focus in on it by rolling back and forth until you feel it soften or release. Pre-run, this self-myofascial release can help you warm up to increase blood flow to the active muscles. The rolling should be a little bit uncomfortable, but not so much you can't bear it. For more foam rolling tips, check out our video on the running channel.
Next, try using a ball like a tennis ball or a lacrosse ball to work on your piriformis, glutes and hip area, including the tensor fasciae latae, or TFL. Tiny bit of science for you, it's the TFL muscle's attachment to the IT band that creates a problem when TFL gets overly tight. Tightness in TFL can create added tension through the ITB, causing a referred pain or irritation on the outside of your knee, also known as ITB syndrome or runner's knee.
Now, there are varying opinions when it comes to static stretching before you run, but try sandwiching these stretches in between the foam rolling that you've just done and the activations that we've got coming up for best results. If you only have time for one of these things before you run, then stick with those activations.
It's worth spending some time to gently stretch and release the areas that are likely to be tight from long periods sitting down, or areas that you know are troublesome for you. Here are a few examples for you to try out.
There are several ways to stretch your piriformis. Here's the most simple. Try sitting on a chair and place one foot over your opposite knee. Gently push the knee down towards the floor and hold for around 20 seconds. Then swap to the other side. And if you want to make it harder, you can slowly bend forwards, but make sure that it comes from your hips.
To stretch out the hip flexor, get into a kneeling lunge position on the floor. You can put a cushion under your knee to ease the pressure on the knee if you'd like. Bend at 90 degrees at the hip and the knee joint. Engage your abdominal muscles, gently squeeze your glutes and don't let your lower back arch or your ribs flare. Gently move towards the front leg, then swap sides.
Stretch out your lower back by lying down on your back with both feet flat out. Pull your right knee up to your chest until you feel a stretch in your lower back. Hold that there for 20 seconds and then repeat with the left leg.
Stand with your feet hip width apart. This can be easier to do for some people against a wall, but slowly bend down to one side, sliding the hand of that side down the outside of the leg. Bring your opposite arm up and over your head, and then switch sides. This stretches your quadratus lumborum, or QL muscles in your lower back, which support good posture. You can add a slight forward bend to find the most effective position for you.
This one's more of a mobilisation than a stretch. So laying on your back on the floor, bring one leg up and over to the opposite side with your knee at roughly 90 degrees. Hold against the ground with the opposite hand. Now, keeping the knee against the floor, slowly rotate and look the opposite way. Now do it on the other side. You'll be mobilising the joints of the lower back and will potentially feel a stretch in your glutes with this one too. Now Andy and I are going to run through some activations that you should be doing before every single one of your runs to make sure that you're really fired up and ready to go. And don't forget to save this video to come back to every time you go for a run.
You can do this with or without a resistance band. Start off standing with your legs about shoulder width apart and feet ever so slightly turned out. Soften the knees and keep them turned out. Your knees should be over your middle toes. This movement will activate the hip and glute muscles before hitting the road. If you're using a band, hook it around your ankles. Sidestep 10 times one way and then back the other. Move slowly, stepping wide enough to keep tension in the band throughout. Try and stay in a slight squat position throughout the movement.
If you spend most of your day sat down, then the majority of your time spent in hip and knee flexion. So to counteract that, stand 5 foot lengths in front of a wall, facing it, and your feet hip width apart. On one leg, push up onto your toes, leaning into the wall and squeezing the standing butt muscle, and hold for 2 seconds at the top. You should aim for 8 on each side for this one. Triple extension is the action that allows you to propel yourself forward whilst running. So it's referring to extension at the ankle, plantar flexing your foot into the ground, and the knee straightening while the hip is extending.
Hamstring sweeps are a great dynamic stretch for your hamstrings, as you might expect. Take a short stride forward, keeping the heel firmly on the ground. Keep the front leg straight and bend the back knee, sinking your bottom towards the ground as though you're about to sit in a chair, and keep your back straight. At the same time as keeping the front leg straight, sweep down with your hands towards the ground, creating a dynamic stretch on the hamstring group. Each movement should take 2 to 3 seconds on alternating legs over a 20 metre, 60 foot distance at slow walking pace.
Stand up tall with your feet hip width apart, chest up and your core and glutes engaged. Step forward with a long stride and drop your back leg towards the ground, lowering until both of your knees are bent at 90 degrees and your front thigh is parallel to the floor. Focus on keeping your front knee over your ankle and foot. Don't let it come too far forward. Push off of your back foot, bringing it forwards and step straight into another forward lunge. You can come back to a standing position in between, and that's a good place to start with the walking lunge. But a progression to make it a bit harder is to set straight through into a tall running pose on one leg and then into the next lunge. Make sure you keep your torso upright and core braced as you move, and aim to do 10 lunges on each leg.
A-walks are a slow and exaggerated walk-through version of good running form. Focus on staying tall with high hips, bringing your knee up in front of you whilst driving your opposite arm up. Pull your toes up to your shins, roll up onto your forefoot if you can on the standing foot, then bring your leg down, walking forward, and continue with the opposite leg. An A-skip is the advanced version and can take some practice to get the hang of, particularly the rhythm. Stay on the balls of your feet and focus on staying tall with high hips. It reinforces midfoot landing, a high cadence, and improves coordination. Use your glutes and hamstrings to actively pull your leg back down to make foot contact underneath the hips. Finish with a slight pawing motion as you pull backwards. Use the same arm motion during this drill as you use while running. Aim to do this twice over a 20-metre distance.
Taking a little bit of time before you lace up and head out for a run to get warm and to activate the key muscle groups will be something that will benefit your running in the long run. What do you think? What does your pre-run routine look like? And are you going to incorporate any of these movements into your new routine? Let us know in the comments below.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and tap the bell icon so you get notified when we upload new videos all about running, which we do every single week, and we will see you next time on the Running Channel.